Hi 9, I'm just going to go through these questions with you on exercise 6E in case you have any problems. So the first one I wanted to do was question 4A. So question 4A looks something like this. Hopefully you recognise that you are to find the perimeter and the area of each of these simple composite shapes. So let's do perimeter first. It looks something like this. Excuse my bad drawing. Hopefully you can see the one on the right. So I'm actually going to do area first. I actually think area is a bit easier. So remember, area is the inside of the shapes. Now you've got two obvious shapes here. One is a rectangle, one is a square. So I'm going to call one area 1 and the other one area 2 so you can see my working out quite clearly. So area 2, area of a rectangle is length times width or length times breadth. So I'm going to do area 1 equals 6 by 12. And 6 12s are 72, aren't they? Now that's in metres, and I found an area, so that's metres squared. Alright, now I have area 2. Now that's got a stroke on both sides, so that means it's a square, doesn't it? So area 2 will be 5 times 5. Which makes 25. And then of course with these ones, we have to add those two together, don't we? 5 plus 2 makes 7. 7 plus 2 makes 9. So that answer should be 97 metres squared. Pardon me. Okay, so that's the area. Now let's try perimeter. So if you look at my shape, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides in total. So you're going to need to write in 5 here. Now remember, if you add all the vertical sides, it should equal the other vertical side. So 6 plus 5 will give me 11. And I have, I'll do this one in green, all horizontal sides should equal the longest horizontal side. So what plus 5 gives me 12? Hopefully you said 7. So the first thing you need to do is find all the missing sides, and now we have to add them all up. Now remember, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides altogether, so make sure you have 6 numbers. So I'm going to do 12 plus 6, I'm going to go around in a clockwise direction, 7 plus 5 plus 5, and then I think the last one was 11. So just double check you've got 6 numbers. Yes, I do. So let's see. 5 and 5 make 10, plus 11 make 21, plus 12 make 33, plus 7 makes 40, plus 6 makes 46. You can use your calculator. You don't have to do it like this. Now, in the diagram, it was in metres, so my answer is in metres. I'm going to get my calculator. Okay, it's too hard for myself. Alright, so the next one I asked you to do, I think, was D and then F. So let's have a look at D. Alright, I might leave D for you to have a go. I might do F. So let's have a go at 4F. So 4F looks something a little bit like this. Alright, so hopefully you'll notice the top one is a parallelogram. The bottom one is a parallelogram, my bad. Okay, and a parallelogram is base times height. Now, in a parallelogram, this is your base, and this is your height. So even though they've got a 26 there, I don't think I'm actually going to use that at all. I'm only going to use this one as the height, and I'm going to use this one as the base. So again, it's in millimetres, isn't it? I'm going to call this one area 1, and this one area 2. We will need the 26 when we do the perimeter, won't we? Alright, so let's do area first. I'm going to do area 1 first. Area 1 is the parallelogram. Like I said, that's base times height. And remember, they've got to be at right angles to each other. So that's why we use the 20 and the 13 in this case. So 13 is the base, 20 is the height. So that gives me, on my calculator, 13 times 20 is 260. Alright, now let's work out area 2. Now area 2 is half of a circle. So I'm going to use half times pi r squared. Now, hopefully you notice this and this are the same length, aren't they? And it's the diameter of the circle, isn't it? So I need half of 13. What's half of 13? Well, what's half of 6? Half of 12 is 6. So half of 13 is 6.5. So I'm going to use a half times pi times 6.5 squared, because that's the formula, isn't it? So a half on my calculator times pi times 6.5 squared gives me 66.37. Now if you read the question here, it does say to 2 decimal places, so that's why I've done it to 2 decimal places. Now to find my final area, total area will be those two added together, won't it? So 66.37 plus 260 gives 326.37, and that's in, there it is, millimeters, so don't forget millimeters squared. Right, let's try the perimeter. Now remember, that's the outside bits, so no inside bits, okay? Now I know from the diagram here that this is 26, don't I? So the straight bits are probably easy. So on the parallelogram there's only 3 sides that I'm actually going to count. That's going to be the 26, the 13, and then the other 26. Remember rules of parallelograms. Opposite sides, like these, are parallel, but they're also the same length. So that one is also 26. Okay, bottom one is 13. Alright, so we need the curved part now. So that is circumference of a circle we need. Okay, now we've got the diameter, but it's half of a circle, isn't it? So I'm going to use half times, circumference is either 2 pi r or pi d, if you remember. Now since I've been given the diameter, I'm going to use the pi d formula, okay? So that's pi times 13. Alright, so I need to work that out. It's a half a circle, so that's why I do a half. Half times pi times 13. And I get, to 2 decimal places, 20.42. Okay, so I just need to add all of those together now. 20.42 plus 26 plus 13 plus, I've put in 113, that's silly, plus 26 again, and that gives me 85.42 millimeters. So there's your perimeter and there's your area. Okay. Alright, let's try what's next. So next is question 5. So here is question 5. Here's 5C. This is asking us to find the perimeters and the areas of this shape to 2 decimal places. Ooh, that looks a bit yucky, doesn't it? Alright, so 5C. I'll draw the diagram without all those other bits first so you can see it. Alright, so that's 16 kilometres and this is 8. Alright, so what you have to do here is you have to figure out what you can see. So we've got a straight bit here, that's easy for perimeter, that's 16. Now hopefully you can see you've got this bit here and this bit here is actually a quarter of a circle. So if I was to draw that into a circle, and this one, which I'm not going to fit on the page, into a circle, these two bits, as they've drawn them, are actually 2/4 of a circle. So what does 2/4 make? 2 times a quarter, hopefully you realise, equals a half. So the curved sections are actually half a circle. Alright, so let's try this. Let's do the perimeter first. Alright, perimeter. Alright, so I've just figured out that my 2 curvy bits actually make up half a circle, right? Now this bit is the radius of one, this is the radius of the other. So you can work out a quarter, the radius, the circumference of a quarter of a circle, and just add those two answers together if you want, okay? And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go 2 lots of a quarter of a circle times 2 times pi times the radius. So that's what we're going to do for circumference. Now if you look at your diagram, the radius is from here to here, isn't it? Which is half of 16. Half of 16 is, sorry I have to make this bigger and move it over, 8. So let's do that first on our calculator. So I've got 2 of the same, and it's a quarter of a circle, times 2 pi r, 8. So that gives me, to 2 decimal places, 25.13. And it's in kilometres. I'm not going to fit that on. Kilometres goes there. Alright, now we have to add on just that straight bit, don't we? So we've worked out the curvy bits, so let's add on the 16 to that, plus 16, and our final perimeter is 41.13 kilometres. That was a bit tricky, wasn't it? Right, let's try area. Okay, go back to our diagram. Okay, so area is going to be a little bit harder, and this is one that's called a cutout. So I'm going to actually do this by working out. I'll do it in yellow, I think. Can I? Oh no, bugger. Okay, that's all right. I thought it was going to highlight for me. Here's my highlighter. So I've actually got a rectangle here. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do for area is I'm going to work out the area of the rectangle. I'll do that in black. So rectangle is 8 by 16. So area of rectangle first, 8 times 16. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Wrong way, miss. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to move my page over. 8 times 16 is, I think that's 128. My calculator's working a bit weird. Kilometres squared. All right. So does that make sense? So let's work out, first of all, that rectangle. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out, oh, bugger, that didn't work. I'm going to work out these bits here. Now I only really have to work out one, and then I just have to double it. And if I work out those bits and take it off the rectangle, I can figure out, different colour, miss, I can figure out this bit in here just by subtracting those 2 quarter circles away. So let's have a look at the quarter circle. We already worked out the radius, didn't we? We said it was 8, didn't we? All right, so let's go. So now I'm going to do the circles. Quarter circle section, all right? Now I have 2 of them, don't I? And it's a quarter of a circle, and what are we doing? We are working out area. So I need to use pi r squared. pi times radius squared. Now we know that the radius is half of that 16, so it's pi times 8 squared. So let's do that in our calculator. 2 times 0.25 times pi times 8/8 is 64 equals, alright, to 2 decimal places. I'm running out of room. Make it bigger. Let me get, there we go. 100.53. And now add those two together. Total area equals 100.53 plus 128, which gives me 228.53. Okay, I'll upload this and I'll make a video of some of the other ones. See you later.